Stephen A., you were there last night in Atlanta. You saw Korver go down. Now that we know that he's done for the season, what's it mean for the Hawks?
Well, it means the same thing, unfortunately, that it meant for the Hawks before it was official that Kyle Korver went down. That is that they'll likely get swept. As I stated last night, I'll reiterate that same position. The Atlanta Hawks simply are ill-equipped to go up against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They can't score the basketball. Now, when you look at a guy like Kyle Korver, a sharpshooter extraordinaire, a three-point shooting marksman, he is somebody that has struggled throughout these playoffs. Long before that ankle sprain, that severe ankle sprain took place last night, he was shooting less than 40% from the field and from three-point range, which is something he has not done all season long. But during the playoffs, having the Bradley Beals of the world and the John Walls of the world defending him, and then particularly in this series with Iman Shumpert draped all over him, he barely had space to breathe, to be quite honest with you. So he wasn't doing much anyway. That's not to sit there and say that he doesn't have intrinsic value, because he can shoot, and when he's on, that is a huge plus for Atlanta. But he wasn't getting on in this series. He wasn't about to get on against Iman Shumpert because he's a spot-up shooter. He's not somebody that can use the dribble to create his own shot. So it's unfortunate that he got hurt, no question about it. You wish him nothing but the best, because he's a great shooter and a great person. But in this series and in these playoffs, he wasn't going to do much against the Cleveland Cavaliers anyway, to be quite honest with you. It was not going to change the inevitable. They're still probably going to get swept.
Stephen A., as you said, you were predicting that this series was going to be a sweep even before we knew that Kyle Korver was out for the rest of it. As you look at it, how much percentage-wise, if you will, easier does this make it moving forward for the Cavs, especially when you consider that Kyrie Irving is dealing with his own injuries, and might this enable him to get a little bit more rest for the finals?
I would say about 25% easier if I had to put a number on it. That's hard to equate, of course, but just to play that percentage game, about 25% easier, just like it was about 25% easier once DeMarre Carroll went down, because he's their primary defender against LeBron James, particularly when you consider the fact that Tapa Pepalosha has been out for these playoffs because he got injured in a ruckus with the police in New York City a few months ago. That was a devastating blow to Atlanta in and of itself. Even though he played in Game 2 on Friday night, he clearly wasn't near 100%. So Kyle Korver going down too just makes it considerably worse. So I look at it from the standpoint that, again, when this series started, I predicted that the Cavaliers would win the series in 6 games. I actually gave Atlanta its respect based on its great regular season of winning 60 games and being the #1 seed. And I said respect when they play together, they share the basketball, they play unselfishly, they defend. They could possibly win 2 games in this series. But once Carroll went down and now Kyle Korver, it's simply a wrap. It's over. They have no shot at winning this series. They barely have a shot at winning a game.